What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Derrick, back to you again with another episode on the construction site, or Builder D is what they call me. Hey, today is Health Thursday. Men, listen, I want to talk to you about colonoscopies, and colonoscopy is what I had yesterday on Wednesday. And you got two choices. You can go to the doctor and have him give you a colonoscopy, or you can have the colon cancer come visit you, and you have to battle that. Hopefully, you catch it early and you don't catch it at stage 3, stage 4. Now, is it beatable? Is it treatable? Absolutely. I know a couple friends who's beaten it, but at the same time, why wait? White men, they say 50, go get checked out. Black men, they say 45, go get checked out. And if you got history of colon cancer in your family or different cancers, man, go check that out because I knew I grew up in the age where we didn't talk about things that go on in your family. I didn't know my dad was sick. I didn't know my dad was hurt. I never seen my dad cry. So those are the kind of things we got to get past in this day and age where younger generation are able to speak on how they feel and aren't afraid to go to the doctor, aren't afraid to get talk to mental health professionals and things like that. So we're in a different era than when I grew up because I just turned 51, and this is my second colonoscopy. It's my second one. So the first one I was didn't know what to expect, and it was nothing. The second one I was ready. At least I thought I was ready, and we'll get back to that in a second. But men, don't be afraid to go get a damn colonoscopy. Don't be afraid for the doctor to make sure you are healthy and there's nothing wrong so you can live a long, great life. Don't take your car and get serviced and you die the next day because you ain't gonna get your ass serviced. I mean, it just don't make sense. Okay. There's gonna be some people I'm gonna talk about, probably not today, but coming up soon about their battles with colon cancer and prostate cancer. Some ladies about breast cancer. My wife has melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer. So cancer is an everyday task that we have to deal with. Was it one out of every four people you know has been diagnosed with cancer? I'm not sure if that's a stats, but if I was Joe Rogan, I'd be like, Jamie, Google that for me. Maybe one day I'll get to that level. As you can see, I got my group therapy shirt on, which I do smoke cigars. And that's one of my breakthroughs that I get a break from talking about things like that. I have a cigar and drink a little bit of whiskey. So I'm gonna give you guys a little break, get a little commercial break right here. This episode of the construction site is brought to you by Greasy Granny Hair Products. This is my number one sponsor, Greasy Granny Hair Products. When your hair has to be laid, blade, and slayed, make sure you get that Greasy Granny Hair Products. Only sold at no store near you. Hey, listen, we're gonna have a good time on this Thursday. It's 12:34 a.m. and I'm just out here just, want to talk to you guys about being healthy. So let's get back to the colonoscopy. So Miralax. I took Miralax. And if you never had Miralax before, you take the whole bottle, you mix it with 64 ounces of Gatorade, and then you drink 8 ounces, and then you wait 20 minutes, and then you drink 8 ounces until you hit your first 32 ounces. So 32 ounces, 8 ounces every 20 minutes, and then you wait 2 hours, and then you take the other 32 ounces, and then you don't get too far from the restroom because it is definitely a break fast for the bathroom, and hopefully nobody's in there because if you're in my bathroom, you're gonna get pooped on because I ain't stopping. The flow was going, the flow was showing. Oh, and two, I'm sorry. Before you drink your special poop drink, you get two Docalax laxatives, and you take those first. The worst part to me is not the Miralax. The worst part to me is you can't eat that whole day. After you flush for the day, then the day before, you can't eat. I mean, you can drink broth, You can drink juices, all juices except for orange juices. You can drink water. You can drink Gatorade, but there's no food. You can't eat. So that's the worst part. The Miralax is definitely going to clear you out. I mean, that's another part where after a while it's just water. Um, and that's difficult to just do water. Your body's fucking confused as hell while water's shooting out of your butt. But those are just some of the things you have to do to make sure that you're healthy. So I went through all this and I got the colonoscopy done. Well, what he could do, and my body did not flush my intestines or my colon good enough for him to do the test. So I have to redo it again in a couple of months. And I asked him, I said, man, what did I do wrong? He said, man, sometimes Miralax just doesn't get it all. He said, in this case, he said, last time it worked properly. And he said, this time it did not. So he said, I'm going to give you something over the counter, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be way worse than Miralax. But hey, I'm up for the challenge as long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm able to stay here and be with my daughters and my grandbabies and my son and my wife and my family and my friends. And as long as I do everything I can to make sure that I'm healthy, then I'm okay with it. What's a little discomfort for a long life? You know what I'm saying, Vic? You know what I'm saying, folks? So just make sure you are taking care of yourself. Your body's going to tell you something. Your body's going to say, hey, man, I don't feel good today. Don't ignore it. Your body's going to be like, oh, man, I know you always think your back is hurting, but this time it's hurting a little bit more. Man, don't ignore it. Go get that shit checked out and find out if you're okay. Who cares what people say? Oh, man, you going to the doctor again? Hey, I pay insurance. I pay insurance to go to the doctor. And most of the time, you guys are just making people rich because you won't use your insurance. Give me a quick drink. Give a shout out to my Under Armour cup in my USA colors. Drink plenty of water, also, folks. Drink plenty of water. So, colonoscopies. Men, get your butt up, get your physical, go to the doctor. If it's your time for a colonoscopy, get the colonoscopy to make sure you're okay. Also, if you're feeling bad and the doctor doesn't give you the answer you want, just don't accept it. Say, hey, I hear what you're saying, doc, but man, that don't sit right with me because I'm feeling real bad. Don't sugarcoat how you feeling. Men get we tough. You can't hurt me. You can't phase me. Sometimes we're our worst enemy because we feel bad, but we don't tell the doctor or the nurse practitioner the extent of how we feel. We just go, oh, I feel a little, off balance. That's my favorite word right there. My wife said, "Are you sick?" Nah, but I'm just off balance. She'd be like, "You sick?" I'm off balance. I ain't been sick since 1994. Just saying. In basic training, I'm off balance. We have to get out of the part of saying, "Oh, I'm not sick," or um, "Have you do your chest hurt?" No, I mean I have some discomfort sometimes, and I'll be okay. Man, tell him how you feel. That way, he can make the diagnosis that he needs to make. So my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, Victor Battle, had a massive heart attack in the emergency room. The widowmaker he had. One of the things that the doctor said is we don't have a lot of information on black men and well, this is several years back, but and he could have been just making some shit up. But he said we don't have enough information on black men and health because we don't go to the doctor enough to know. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Sounds like right. My dad wouldn't tell me if he went to the doctor. And if he did go to the doctor, he didn't tell me what the doctor said. That's when I was growing up. So that could be facts. My dad didn't go to the doctor unless he had to. My friend's dad didn't go to the doctor unless he had to. Absolutely had to. Not going to the doctor. Could be so sick, can't move. He's still going to work. So that could be a fact that there's not enough history on black men in order to diagnose heart condition. Or I could just be making all this up. Guys, go in there, tell them how you feel. Matter of fact, if you're married, take your significant other in there, and if you don't tell them, she definitely gonna tell them. No, doc, that's not what he told me. So most guys are gonna go in there and be tough. So take your spouse, and she'll tell the truth, so you can get the correct diagnosis that you need. My brother-in-law had a heart attack in the emergency room while hooked up to all the equipment. They still could not detect he was having a heart attack until my sister called him. Hey, y'all need to come in here. Something's happening. Russian Soul Cheesy, we miss you, brother. Hey, go get checked out. A lot of people checking out. The doctor told me before I had the colonoscopy, he's like, yo, your heart rate is high. You got any heart problems? I was like, no. I just had a physical. My blood pressure was great. How long ago was that? I don't know, a month ago. He said, well, it's a little high right now. So who do you tell? My wife, when she came, hey, your husband's blood pressure is a little high. You need to get, I can't even think what it's called, and, watch his blood pressure and make sure you monitor it. So how all of a sudden, a month ago, my blood pressure was great. Now my blood pressure's out of whack. So I need to figure it out. 2024, get back healthy. I used to be a freaking gym rat monster. Then COVID happened, and I haven't done shit since. It's terrible. I don't want to blame COVID. It's my own fault. Get checked out, guys. Whatever you're feeling, I'm 51 years old. I was a great football player, a really good basketball player, a really good baseball player. I was a really, 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 really good soldier in the United States Army for 8 years, 9 months, 29 days. It takes a toll on your body. Go get checked out. Back to the colonoscopy. Please, cancer, don't care if you're black, don't care if you're white, don't care if you're Hispanic, don't care if you're Asian, don't care if you're old, blind, crippled, or crazy. Just doesn't care. But if we do the steps, get checked out, you can catch it early. My best friend, Tim Mitchell, stage 3. He didn't catch it as early because I don't think the doctor really gave him a good diagnosis. Try to push us men through because sometimes we just want to get the hell out of that hospital. Scared me. That's why I got my first colonoscopy because they said he had stage 3 colon cancer. And I'm going to bring him on so he can talk about that. Scared me. My wife had melanoma. I was out on a motorcycle trip. She called me and told me her test results weren't as positive as they usually are. And it's difficult to be all the way in California on a motorcycle trip and unable to take care of your wife after she found out the news that she found out. But Her last scan was great. I know I'm all over the place because cancer. My mom had breast cancer. Beat it. And the insurance only checked where they had removed her breast and she had already beat the cancer. So my mom was having pains in her side. So we took her to the emergency room because she was in a lot of pain. And they could not, the doctors, emergency room doctor said, I've done every test. Only thing I can think is your mom cancer is back. So I'm going to reach out to her doctor, and say, hey, I want to do this PET scan and scan her for cancer. And her doctor said, no, her cancer can't be back. And the emergency room doctor said, well, you know what? I've done everything else I can think of. And if you're not going to authorize the test, I'll just authorize it myself. And he did that. And when he did that scan from her head to her toes, every place there was bone, there were spots of cancer. After she was already on 26 pills a day and oxygen. The best thing about my mom's last days is once they took her off all the medication for those 3 days before she went home to be with the Lord, she was exactly who she was the whole time. And all that medication, she was drowsy. She was not herself. She would just be staring into space. But those 3 days, when they took her off that medicine before God called her home, she was beautiful. Everything you ever thought of Barbara Vick, that's what she was for those 3 days. She laughed. She knew everybody's faces that she saw, and she was a beautiful soul. And cancer took her, but at the same time, she beat breast cancer because she caught it early, and that gave her 25 more years. So the theme of the day is medical. Get your butt checked. You see something that doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, get it checked. What's the worst gonna happen? You paying for it already anyway. Go pay your $50 copay and see if it can save your life. I've been rambling on here about 17, 18 minutes, man. I'm gonna get on out of here on this early Thursday morning. Man, I want you guys to have a great 2024. I want you guys to be prosperous, eat well, get checked out, hug somebody, love somebody. That's what I want to end this every time. Hug somebody, love somebody, shake somebody's hand you don't know. Every time you pass somebody, if you can, say hey, because you may make that person's day. Stop walking around here like you mad. What you mad about? It could be a bad day. Shit, still smile. Hey, this is Derrick, Builder D from the construction site. You guys have a beautiful Thursday and the rest of this weekend, and I'll see you guys real soon. See ya.